What's up, garden folk, gardeners? Just a little rundown of what I use as far as nutrient goes. Just Here we go, I guess. This will be my Osmocote. This is pretty much what like a landscaper or a gardener would use if you hired them and they planted like your pansies, your vinca, your color that you don't eat. I mean, you could probably use this on stuff you eat, but I mean, it's mostly for non-edible stuff, ornamentals, just because it's straight up just chemicals. And this is Osmocote, good for up to 6 months. I like to shoot for more about 4 months, just because I like to make sure my plants are well fed. The numbers on here are Osmocote. It says it's a 15,912, so it's pretty high, but the kicker is it's a smart release plant food. Oh, smart release, aka slow release. That means it's not gonna like super dose it up like maybe your lawn foods that are really high in the same area. If you ever heard of Smart Blend or new lawn starters or something I showed on the other videos at the grow shops. But this you can actually put on smaller plants because it is a slow release. I've even put them on strawberries and whatnot, just to kind of get them juiced up, because I don't know if you're eating or whatever, but it's a slow release, so it gives it at the right dosage. It's not going to burn your plants. Super bloomer. It's good to kickstart anything that you're trying to fruit or flower. I use these on my roses, not all the time. I typically use Magnum Rose food, which I'll show in a second. I use Magnum Rose food as far as a consistent feed. This I'll use pretty much kind of right now to stimulate root growth, and I'll use it also January, February, March, like around March, to jumpstart the season. I use it, like I said, as more of a jump starter, to because of the numbers 15, 30, 15, with that middle number phosphorus being for roots and bottom growth, and for flowers it's more so just as a jump starter. You don't want to like do it every day, or not every day, every feeding all the time. That middle number can potentially lock out other numbers, so use as you want. Everybody has their own recipe. Next on the list is humic acid. How do I describe humic acid? I typically combine humic acid with the infamous seaweed extract. My understanding of humic acid is it's an acid that knocks loose all the salts. So on one level, it's knocking loose all the salts and unbinds the salts in your soil. On another level, I guess it unlocks nutrients that are already in the soil to a state where the plants can actually uptake it. So the soil always has nutrients. The soil always has nutrients in the soil. It just depends if the plants can actually access them. I would definitely Google it, unless you like screenshot this or something. You're not really going to get all the info on it. This is just a general analysis of what it is. Let's see. I think it's derived from Fovic. Nope. I guess this is what you want to pay attention to. If you get a granular version, it'll either be higher or lesser than that number here. This is a water soluble, and as you can see, it has like even a small feed of potassium, which I did not know. Soluble potash, 3%. But yeah, I use this mostly to knock nutrients loose so the plants can actually uptake it. One time I was in a soil class, and the soil teacher said that this acts better when you combine it with something to carry it or something, if that makes sense. I'm not a super scientist, but I typically like to combine the humic acid with something. So I either combine it with the seaweed extract or fish emulsion, but fish emulsion is a little bit stinky and sometimes people don't like it, so I use the seaweed extract. But The dynamic trio, I usually do this, humic acid, and fish emulsion, all organic, and fish emulsion is not high enough to burn anything, so that's what I like to do. I don't have any right now because it stinks all the time. So this is the infamous Magnum Rose food. I typically kind of use this for everything unless I'm going strictly organic. I sometimes use this for my vegetables too because it's at an 8, 10, 8, and if you don't know what the numbers are, the first one is nitrogen, second one is phosphorus, and the last one is K for potassium. So N for nitrogen, P for phosphorus, K for potassium. And that middle number is going to do roots and flowers. Potassium's going to do like your tree trunks, your stability. The last two is what you want to focus on as far as like rose bushes and cacti, because you got roots and you got stability. The first number fluctuates, and the only reason this matters is because I'm out here in the desert in Phoenix, Arizona, so cactus and succulents do not like a high number, that first number. So even though I'll consistently use this for all my vegetative growth, as you can see, I got a lot of things. I got passion fruit, I got cactus, I got a little bit of everything. So I use the Magnum Rose food for the monsteras and all the herbaceous growth. But when I will use the Magnum Rose food maybe once a season for the cacti and succulents, or if I feel spunky and want to use it more than once a season, I'll use a quarter dosage once a month or something. Like I said, plants is an adventure. Not everybody's perfect. If you're not scared, then you can try out more stuff and find out more stuff. But you know, it's not my. That's just what I'm doing sometimes right now. I'm gonna change it up and try to get more bang for buck. On with the next, bone meal and blood meal. You're gonna hear this a lot. These are gonna be like your go-to organic granular feeds for like your gardens because they're both organic. Bone meal being from crushed bones from animals, like I guess all the bones from the cows, or I gotta look into it. Don't quote me on everything I'm saying. I'm just saying these are from bones from animals, and this is from all the organs and blood from animals. This is going to be your go-to, as you can see, for all your vegetative growth, all your leafy greens, since it being the first number 13 as far as nitrogen goes. Doesn't have any of the other two, but definitely good for like your spinaches, your kales, your basil, anything that where you eat the green leaves. That's what blood meal is going to be good for. Does not mean that you can't use a little bit of this bone meal, but bone meal is what a lot of people, you even put in cactus sparingly. I'll put in my rose bushes, I'll put in my peppers, I pretty much put both of them in everything. And depending what plant it is, I'll use a higher concentrate of either or. Like my cactus, I'll only use this. Spinach and kales and all that, I use mostly this. But as far as, like I said, as far as a lot of my plants go, I'll use both of them. And I'll typically just come and take a teaspoon and scoop one into each pot. This right here is I will use that for my trees and anything that's strong enough to take a 20-20-20. This is not a water soluble. This is a granular, so that's why I'm only using it on the trees. If it was water soluble, made by the same people, Grow More, not getting paid, but if they want to provide some stuff, go ahead, give a shout out. But it's a granular, so depending on how big the tree is, depending on how much you add, like maybe a teaspoon per 5-gallon pot, like this peach tree here, I'll do like a teaspoon in there. For a 15-gallon pot, I use maybe 5 teaspoons. So that's the rundown. I forgot to show you the bone meal and what that looks like. It's also a granular. Like I said, I'll take a teaspoon of each That's the bone meal. This is the blood meal. If you like blood. It's granular, so a teaspoon of each into pretty much all my plants, except for cactus and succulents. I do not put the blood meal. So that's my rundown. Give you a long shot. Doom, doom, doom. And the numbers on the seaweed extract are really low. That's why it's not an actual feed either. It's more of a soil inoculant. Doom, doom, doom. Just look it up. Seaweed extract, liquefied natural kelp. Oh yeah, one more, I forgot. This is what I actually feed my cactus with about once a month, or if I'm feeling spunky, once every 2 weeks. They say lesser is more, so I'll do like half a dosage every 2 weeks. Like I said, everybody's different. Find out where you lie and what you can do. I'm out here in Phoenix, Arizona. Totally different environment from a lot of people. I think most of you guys are out here, so my go-to for cactus is this. Read the instructions. And why is it a go-to? Because check it out. That first number is really low, and the last two numbers are not high, but they're higher than the first number. That's how you know it's geared towards cactus and succulents. You can use this for, I add a cap in a gallon for my rose bushes when I really want them to flower and whatnot. So use as needed, I guess. Definitely read the labels on all of these. Don't watch a video and just start throwing stuff around. You'll either burn your plants, or you might knock your nutrient balance off balance in the soil. And depending on if you're gardening in the ground or if you're gardening in pots, every dosage is going to be different. Over and out, guys. This was a video on the whim, so sorry about the stuttering. Bada bing, bada boom.